The peanut is so unique. Unlike most plants, the peanut plant flowers above the ground, but it forms its fruit below the ground. Planting peanuts can be a fun and rewarding process. Just a single peanut plant can easily produce a bountiful harvest of 30 to 40 delicious nuts. Welcome to Kitchen Garden Farmhouse. Today I'm going to be going over with you some simple steps in planting peanuts. Let's get started. Whether you're growing your peanuts in raised beds, a container, or in the ground, they need to be planted in an area that gets about 8 hours of direct sunlight a day. The soil needs to be loose and well draining. Also consider how you will be watering your peanuts. I'm going to be using the drip tape watering system. I'm going to be using two because I'm going to be planting a double row. I'm going to be planting them 1 feet apart and 6 inches apart this way. Peanuts is a legume like beans and lentils, so they have the ability to fix their own nitrogen in the soil. So next we're going to be going over the fertilizer needs. Peanuts does not like alkaline soil. My pH right now is running about 7.0. I prefer it to be more around 6.5, so I'm going to put down a soil acidifier. I'm also going to be putting down some compost that I have made. If you do not have any compost available, then worm castings would be another good option. I'm also going to be putting down an all-purpose fertilizer. This right here is organic, put out by Dr. Earth. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to put down the soil acidifier. And how I do this, I don't measure, I just sprinkle it on. Now this soil acidifier is not going to work right away, but as it takes time to break down, it will work in the weeks to come. Next, I'm going to be putting down my own compost. Once again, I'm just going to be sprinkling it on. Also, another option is worm castings. I'm going to be putting a little bit of that down. And then my last item, I'm going to be putting down Dr. Earth Organic All-Purpose Fertilizer. And once again, I'm just kind of sprinkling it on. If you want a more precise measurement on the all-purpose fertilizer, a general rule of thumb is you put down anywhere between 1 to 1.5 cups every 10 square feet. Okay, once you have down your amendments of your choice, then just lightly cultivate it in. You want to get it in within the first couple inches of the soil, like the first 3 inches. You can use your hands or you can use a garden tool, whichever one works best for you. After you have all your amendments down, then just go ahead and put some water on it to get it moistened. There are 4 main types of peanuts: Virginia, Valencia, Runner, and Spanish. Which type will you be planting? Leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Each category of peanuts is going to have different characteristics and different flavors. The Valencia and the Spanish peanuts takes anywhere from 90 to 120 days from seed to harvest. The Runner peanuts can take up to 130 days, and the Virginia takes the longest, up to 150 days. The peanuts I'm going to be planting today is from the Virginia category, and the variety is called Win. Now, if you live in a northern state and have a shorter growing season, no problem. All you have to do is start your peanuts indoors 5 to 8 weeks before it's time to transplant them, and just make sure that when you do transplant them, the days outside growing are frost-free days. When you're planting peanuts, make sure they look like this. They have the skin on, not the ones like this that are broken in half, and not the ones where the skin has came off. Okay, and using the drip line system, what I do is run my finger along the edge here until I feel the emitter, and that's where I know I'm going to plant the peanut, because I want it to drip right where the peanut is at. Peanuts need to be planted at least 2 inches deep. So I have a ruler here to kind of give you an idea of the 2 inches. So I'm just going to bring my ruler down here and just open up the soil. From there, you just drop the peanut in. down into the soil. And then just backspace it. Okay, we're gonna go down at least 2 inches. Drop the peanut in, and then backspace it with soil, get all the air pockets. Let's do a couple more. Put your peanut in, just cover it up with soil and pat it down. After you have all your peanuts planted, then just water it down good. Don't make it too soggy, but give it enough water that they're going to have a good chance to germinate. Now the fertilizers that you put down at the beginning, that's really all they need for the most part. And then about every 2 weeks, you can come along and just feed it with a liquid fertilizer like a fish emulsion or something to that nature. In about 5 to 10 days from now, our peanuts are going to sprout and they're going to be a beautiful sight to see. They will grow up to be about 18 inches tall. The peanut is so unique. Unlike most plants, the peanut plant flowers above the ground, but it forms its fruit below the ground. Then in about 30 to 40 days, your peanut plant is going to form these beautiful yellow flowers that are self-pollinating. When you see the yellow flowers forming, that would be a good time to begin to mound up some soil around the bottom of the plant, because as the flowers continue to mature, they're going to begin to bend over and burrow themselves into the soil. And this is what you call pegs. And at the end of the peg, that is where the peanut is formed. And of course, once the pegs form, it's very important to keep your soil evenly moist at all times. And depending on what variety you chose, it's going to take somewhere between 100 to 160 days for your peanuts to come to harvest. About 2 weeks before it's time to harvest your peanuts, go ahead and stop watering altogether. Once the plant begins to turn yellowish, then you know it's getting very close to time for you to harvest those delicious peanuts. I'm going to be bringing you back along and along as my peanuts begin to grow and mature and show you the process of my peanuts growing. If you have found value in this video, would you take a moment to subscribe if you have not done so already? And if you ring the notification bell, you'll be reminded every time I upload and release a new video. And if you give me a thumbs up and leave a comment, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.